What's up, family? I pray you are doing well today. It's Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what that means. It's time for Midlink. I am your host, Pastor Ty, and as always, I love to remind you God is up to something big in your life. There's something B-I-G, best in God. Thank you so much for being here. Midlink is your midweek connection for inspiration, encouragement, truth, and all those things that you can use. I'm excited about being with you today. I'm excited about having some very special guests with us today. I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing show. I need you to do something real quick. You know, if you're part of Midlink, if you've been with us any length of time, then you know that we have this little thing that we like to do, and we like to call it our check-in.
Check-in.
That's right, our check-in. It's our way of letting everyone know that we are here. If you're watching live, if you're watching replay, whatever it looks like, we just want to know that you were in the room. And how do you check in? Just jump in the comments. Hello, how you doing? Good evening. Thumbs up. Good morning. You know, it just depends on where you're at. I'm just saying, you know, but just let us know that you were here. Emoji, whatever you want to do, but let us know that you are here. Let's see who's checking in. Africa Bell. What's up, Miss Africa Bell? Good evening to you. God bless you. Thanks so much for being with us. She gave us 3 hearts tonight, y'all. She must be really, really, really feeling good. She loving being here. What's up, Princess Rogers? Good to see you on tonight. God bless you. Keisha Hogg, what's going on, young lady? Thank you so much for being on tonight. Miss Shalanda, what's going on? Good to see you on tonight as well. God bless you. What's up, Ariel? Ari, good to see you on. Hey there to you as well. Treese Swain, what's up, Beatrice? Good to see you on tonight. All right. Mother Murder, what's up, Mom? Good to see you on. Thanks for being on. Good evening to you as well. What's up, LaShundra Brewster, I ain't gonna tell them you getting younger and younger. You got a high school student now, but I ain't gonna tell nobody. That's between me and you. All right. What's up, though? Good to see you on tonight. Hey, Felicia Hawkins. Thank you so much for being on. We're excited to have you here as well. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Hey, everybody, I need you to do me a huge favor. I need you to, you know what I'm going to ask you to do. I need you to like this, share this. I need you to make sure if you're on YouTube that you subscribe, make sure your notification bell is on, all that other good stuff, you know, all the social media stuff. It's not about popularity for us. We believe that every like is a life, every share, we say it represents a soul. So we need you to make sure that you put this in front of as many people as possible. There's my man is right there. Bruce Howard, what's up, man? Good to see you on tonight. Miss Kentara Lee, thank you for being on as well. Everybody share, like, do all the social media stuff. Let us get this out to as many people as possible. We want them to be a part of the conversation tonight. Now, you know, on Midlink, we are we are versatile, and we have a variety of ways that we present you those truths and those encouragement and that inspiration and all of that. Sometimes we'll sit here and we'll kind of navigate through the scriptures, and other times we'll have guests like we do tonight. And so I'm telling you, one thing you got to know, you got to admit this. You got to admit that anytime you're on, man, the content is going to be something that is worth you getting on for. You just got to admit that. And tonight is no different. Tonight I have, I've got some of my sisters with me, and they are phenomenal young ladies. Y'all probably already saw the promo, and you know who it is. But I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed by being with us tonight. So what we're going to do, I guess there's no further ado. I will say this to you all. Man, there is a reason that we have the people on that we have on, And so it's not accidentally that we're just kind of randomly putting names in the hat and seeing who we can have on. And so it's very intentional and very deliberate. And I'm telling you that on the front end because I want you to pay close attention. I want you to engage. I want you to be in the comments. I want you to do all the other stuff so that we can all get the best out of the guests that are with us. And we're linking you with those persons. And as we connect with those individuals, we want to maximize the moment. All right, y'all got that part? Y'all got that? We're maximizing the moment. Well, tonight's guest is none other than the illustrious, y'all know that I sound like I'm about to announce some folks, the incomparable. No, we have with us two amazing young ladies that I know, man, they really have a heart for what they do. They've been so impactful. And if I took time to read their bio, you wonder how in the world they're able to accomplish all these things in their young years. But I will give you just a little bit of this. One of our guests, Miss LaShundra Richmond, she is a highly motivated and purposely driven practitioner, and she has this whole passion for commitment, for student development, and she has really made a lot of headway in so many different areas. She's also known as the Destiny Coach, and that's really one of her calling cards, is leading people to the place they operate and function in destiny. She's the founder and senior strategist for Destiny House, a nonprofit organization that connects the school, business, and community sectors to provide practical approaches toward the advancement of the lives of women and children in the areas of educational objectives, school program improvement solutions, best business practices, and ministry and outreach strategy. Before launching Destiny House, of course, she was in the thick of things and in the hallways and in the urban community and grinding it out, making it happen, exuding that whole passion she has for education, advocacy, and ministry. She is, man, she's done so much. She has made her way, her trek to San Diego and in California on the West Coast, and she has found herself to be now handling these two schools, one being in Escondido, California, serves as the director of innovation and design thinking of these two K through 12 private institutions. Again, one, like I said, is Balboa School, and then the other one is American Collegiate Academy. That's in Clearwater, Florida. And she is also an adjunct professor at San Diego Christian College. She travels all over the place, helping people being birthed into destiny. She's also an author. I told you she's done a lot. And she has an amazing book that you can find on Amazon. It's called Repeat After Me, 31 Days of Affirmations. It's phenomenal, and she's phenomenal. We're excited to have her with us. Can you help me give it up for Miss LaShundra Richmond? And also we have with us the one and only Miss Neonta Williams. She's with us tonight, and she's going to join us. And I'm going to go down her whole bio with Bayo and Black Alabamians for Education and all these other things. And so I'm really probably butchering their whole intro. So I'm going to just bring them both on and let them kind of talk about who they are, what they represent, and all of that. Y'all go crazy in the comments and love on my girls and welcome them into the room tonight. Give it up for LaShundra Richmond and Neonta Williams, my peoples and them. Hey, woo, 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 let me see. Can I hear y'all? Everybody say hello. How you doing?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, Pastor.
What's up? What's up? Hey, y'all good?
What? I'm Gucci. How about you?
Yeah, I'm Gucci too.
Good deal.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
happy
good.
in the building. What's up, Rich?
Yeah.
How you doing, friend?
Hey, boss.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah, they giving y'all all the hand claps and all this other stuff and welcoming y'all here in the comments and all the other stuff there. Y'all
That's
make sure
cool.
you like and share and you do all of that. Make sure you let everybody know I have these. Man, I got the heavy hitters on tonight. You know, if y'all don't share no other night, you got to share tonight. You know what I mean? You got to let somebody know they in the building. Listen, and then we doubled up, both of them at the same time.
Same time.
I done had them on before, and I'll have one here because they stay super busy. I have one over there. But man, I messed around and got blessed. And both of them's gonna come on tag team, back again. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So,
don't do that. I'll forget his Midlink.
So, ladies, what's been going on? Talk to us a little bit. Sean, y'all see Sean right there. So I done called her whole full government name. So she's gonna be Sean tonight though. And I kind of read your bio, and it's one thing to put pen to paper. It's another thing people to know kind of your DNA, who you are, and just in coming to know you and getting that connection, and Neonta kind of bringing me into the fold as it relates to meeting you. I come to find out that this page right here is not enough for you to describe who you are, what you represent. So can you just give us a little synopsis, tell the people who you are, your heart, your passion, that type of thing?
Hey, good people. Happy Wednesday evening, all my people across the globe, because you never know, to what Pastor said, who's watching.
That's right.
I think the bio actually sums it up. As you kind of maneuver as a professional, you learn how to perfect your bio writing. And so my bio truly does capture who I am in spirit. I'm born, bred educator at heart. I'm the daughter of two educators. I'm a third generation educator. It was what I believe I was birthed to do. And I'm an educator by trade, but a minister by calling. So everything in my life can be wrapped up and categorized as being divinely synced to education and ministry. You will not find at any point in my life, 39 years on God's green earth, where a piece, portion, chapter, season, era, valley, mountain was not directly correlated to those two divine paths that God has designed and destined to place me on since my mother's womb. So yeah, that's it. That's the summary. I'm a hood ninja. Born and bred from Memphis, Tennessee. Shout out to the 901, the Bluff City, where we do not bluff. And so that's pretty much, born and raised in the good old city streets of Memphis, and God has just been good to the kid. That's really it. Take no credit for his mercy. Take no credit for how my life has just catapulted in a variety of facets. I've been fortunate and privileged enough to travel all over God's globe to do what it is he's called me to do. And at the end of the day, Pastor Ty, we talked about this, Neon, before you jumped on. I just believe God has called me to run my mouth since the very beginning. Every report card from beginning in kindergarten, I've had bad conduct. And all these years later, anyone that knows me can attest, LaShundra still talks too much. But I bless God for giving me the gift of voice and allowing me to use that voice, whether that's in education, teaching God's children, coaching and developing teachers, working with school leaders, working with community members, business leaders, talking about destiny, helping women birth destiny, whatever it is, laying and praying, laying hands and praying over God's people. In whatever regard, God has allowed me to be a vessel for him. And so that's it. That's all. That's it. That's all.
But see that right there, you just put the little meat on the bones, you know what I mean? And
I ain't tried to.
That was good. You put that little seasoning right there. That's good. You know what I mean? That's cool. And I did I overlooked, I not intentionally omitted, like she said, she is a licensed, ordained minister of the gospel. She's an elder in the Lord's church, and so that needs to be mentioned as well. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, that gift of gab.
Yes.
The Lord uses it all. He knew what he was doing when he gave you that. He knew what he was
Agreed.
doing. Yeah, he knew what he was doing. So thank you so much for saying that. Miss Neonta, we can call her Neon on here, I think. She don't mind.
Right. I started putting Neon as my name, actually.
Yeah. Y'all know she's been on with us a few times. And so she's a regular. You know, she's family for sure.
For sure.
And, tell her, but in case we got some guests and all of that, just kind of give us a synopsis of Neonta and who you are and what you represent.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Pastor Ty, for having us on, especially, an opportunity to share such a platform like this. So you are well respected across the universe, and for anybody to be tapped in and checking in with you, but most importantly, to be invited as a guest is such an honor and privilege. And I say that, every opportunity that I get to come on and chat with you and chop it up and talk. And so I'm trying to deflect and not talk a lot about myself because I don't like doing that. But I was late on my assignment. Today has been an amazing, blessed day. Really, really busy, but all good. So
thank you so much I know you were on the go and moving. Thank you so much for still making it happen.
Oh,
and both of these sisters, y'all, they being real kind, real sweet. Because I really just hit them up and said, hey, can y'all fit your boy on the schedule in May? And they made it happen. You know what I mean?
So gracious. Nope, you were very gracious to us. You gave us plenty of time. But no, I really do thank you. And again, like I said, it's semi trying to deflect, like talking about who I am. But LaShundra did a really, really good job of kind of summing up just kind of, who she is, because it's a lot, right? And you're asking about me, but I was going to say that to describe myself, I think I could say that I master in the ministry of helps. So from childhood to present day, to her point, been a talker, the youngest of 6. Actually, I have 5 older brothers, grew up in a household with 3 of them. And so I've always been a talker, the only girl, but I've always been a helper. And so I've spent some time with a lot of family recently who reminded me of the days when we used to go to the blacktop and play basketball and go to the gyms and play basketball. And I would find myself walking away barefooted because I would see somebody else whose shoes looked like they were in a little bit worse condition than mine. And I would literally take my shoes off and give them away. And so, I certainly believe that we are born looking like our parents, but we died. And I've heard this before, looking like our decisions. And so our decisions a lot of times are what's inside of us and what's innate, whether we're morphed to accomplish those things or what God has placed in our hearts. And so for me, it has most definitely been helping other folks. And so that has led me into accomplishing a bachelor's degree in social work, first of all, from Miles College, and then later pursuing 4 years of active duty service in the United States Army, and then post-military acquiring a master's degree in public administration. I do not have a divinity of anything, but I feel in my heart that I am. When I was active in my last church, very active, I served as a Sunday school teacher. So love to teach and talk about the Lord, but really to help people ultimately to catapult them into whatever the purpose is that God has placed over their life. And so that really has led me into being the founder / executive director of a nonprofit organization that's called Black Alabamians for Education. And again, the idea is that we are equipping, informing, and empowering parents with information to access a high quality K-12 education. So your listeners, your audience have heard us on here before, dropped some nuggets early when school was getting ready to start. And even though we're on the cusp of the summer, graduations are here. Shout out to everybody. Their babies are getting promotions, whether it's 5th grade and 6th grade promotion ceremonies, 8th into 9th, graduating from college and high school, whatever it took to get there. Just shout out to every member of the village that has supported these students to get to where they are. A lot of times the lights are shined on those actual graduates, but a lot of people really don't think about the people behind the scenes that make so many sacrifices to get the students to where they are. So shout out to everybody that's involved, every tentacle that touched the students. And Pastor, again, thank you for this opportunity to be on here with you and showing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. And you're talking about education, the school system, that type of thing. You can't run over that and the role that you serve, and you
Yes.
know, making history and all this stuff. Come on now.
Yeah, I probably should go back and say that because I don't want to miss that moment. So I'm just a girl from Gadsden. Shout out to hometown, Gadsden, Alabama. I love my hometown. I will always represent our hometown, but I'm blessed to live in Birmingham, Alabama. And on last year, constituents or residents in District 2 voted me to serve as the school board representative for District 2. And by the grace of God, I was able to make history to be the first African American female to serve in this position. And so wait, but God is good. I pray that I'm serving well. I enjoy again helping people. So it's another level to serving in the ministries of help.
Absolutely. Hold on. I thought I had some. Let me see if we got some celebration on here.
Thank you. I like that.
Fine. So we got to celebrate up here. You breaking history and all this other stuff. I'm just saying that's a good thing. Oh. Here's what I love about both of them is y'all, and this is what I told them when we were talking about, what we're going to discuss and all that. I said, hey, we're going to do what we did, stand in the parking lot. See, what I love about both of them is they don't have to turn on because we're on the cameras. They live this. They're really authentic in who they are and what they represent. What you see now is what you're getting. And I fool with those kind of people because I like authenticity. That's who I am. And I think that's what really, connects us in all those in that facet. And so I thank God for them being on with us. Now you both are in the whole education area and sector. And while you're in the Birmingham school system and you're in, would it be considered charter? Would it be considered private sector? How would I communicate that, Ms. Shawn?
Private.
So, and you're in two totally different parts of the country. I'd be interested to hear. Now we're coming on, like you said, we're coming up on summer. We've come through the 22-23 school calendar year. I'm interested to hear just your thoughts on where we are from I know this is a loaded question, but where we are from an educational standpoint, where we are from just the cultural dynamic of education, because I know it's not just tests and books, and there's other pieces in that too. Just kind of because it can be out of sight, out of mind. Yep. And if you're not heavily involved, then it's kind of like them over there. But essentially, it affects us all. That was a powerful statement that you made. You're born looking like your parents. You leave looking like your decisions. So, and those decisions aren't not just isolated to really just you. Many times it's a ripple effect of the decisions that we make. And it starts with what you're seeing in the schools or not seeing, that type of thing. So can you kind of just let us into your world just a little bit?
Yeah, that is a loaded question, Pastor Ty. Almost unfair because this is not a Netflix documentary. We ain't got 8 hours of footage to even begin to unpack the answer to that. You noted something. You said the word that I think is so key and pivotal to the state of education, and that is a lack of emphasis on the culture of education. And what does that mean in terms of that word, whether that's staff culture, the community culture, the perspective, people's thoughts and opinions towards education, because all of that impacts what happens in and out of classrooms each and every day. And I don't think we've had enough conversation around how do we properly define what the culture of current day education should very well be to ensure the success of our students. And that is not tonight's conversation, but it is worth mentioning when I look at the lens, when I look through my lens, being able to be on two different sides of the coast. The one thing that I think marries these spaces is the culture piece, and not racially or socially. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the true heart and how we truly view the value or lack thereof and the influence or lack thereof of education. And how does that then how is that then embodied or not embodied as teachers, as school leaders, as parents, as community members, and to Neon's that village piece. And so that's literally where I live, in helping to define and give definition around what is this culture of education, what is required in our hearts, our minds, to truly lead, to truly teach, to truly impart, and then how do you then build buy-in around that shared definition? Like that's a whole nother dissertation conversation at another time. This is my 16th year in education, and I'm still pissed. Just as pissed in year 16 that I was in year 1. And that's with a 2-year retirement / hiatus. God was gracious enough to allow me to step aside for a few years to really heal. I didn't know it at the time, but in hindsight, to heal and really to be revived with this call and this grace that he had placed on my life that I thought people, places, and spaces had just distracted me from. But at year 16, I'm still pissed. I'm still mad. I'm still brainstorming. I'm still ideating. Still trying to figure out how to evoke change from where I sit. The reality of it is, and I say this, I make no apologies, I don't think we're really about the business of educating children. That needle ain't moved yet. And most recently, we're seeing national stories by our more reputable voices talking about the regression of our students academically and socially coming out of the pandemic for 2.5, 3 years. Just this week, the state of Tennessee dropped their numbers. 300 students, over 300 students failed TCAP. That was as of like, today is just Wednesday. So this had to be maybe like Monday's news. So data is now coming out because, of course, you couldn't test during pandemic. You know, it was sketchy that first year. So now you're seeing some hardcore numbers with what we had already kind of softly observed. So it's a lot of different ways I can look at, professionally, you think about, again, what is your place of change? What is your point in it all? Personally, again, I'm still mad as hell. Ain't no sense in me lying. I'm sorry, 3,000 third graders. Thank you for that. 3,000 third. My shout out to my mentee on the line. Shouts out. And so there's so many different ways you can look at it. And even though, people think sometimes that West Coast got it right, and then down south, we just still light years behind. I saw regression in both spaces. I saw Black kids specifically being failed in both spaces, both on the West Coast and both in the South. And so it's really been an interesting journey. Interestingly, my mentee has been pushing me. It's funny that she's on tonight to write a book about these varying dynamics and what these last 5.5, 6 years have showed me on a national lens as it relates to the state of education, the culture of education, and then realistically, if we could prophetically envision what the next 5 to 10 years will look like in education. I'm a little fearful. I ain't lying. I love the Lord and he heard my cry, but I'm a little fearful about what the next 5 and 10 years will look like as it relates to that culture of education piece. We have those that argue, it's not important anymore. You ain't got to go to school. So there's so many different opinions, well listened to opinions that are going forth. And that creates another challenge and a barrier all in itself. So yeah, that's where I'm at, but I'm excited that I get to be a part of this work. Believe it or not, God is gracious because I wake up every morning frustrated, but I wake up with a new idea, new plan, new strategy, because he don't just give you a shout, he give you a strategy. Yeah. And so with that, you be like, all right, let me try again until he says otherwise. So I always tell my teachers, I'm here until he says otherwise. And I'll say that to this industry. I'll say that to this space. I'm going to serve and I'm going to be committed until the Lord says otherwise.
Absolutely. And, you're just passionate about it. And, so the passion comes out of your pain is what they say. And so that frustration is one of the things that fuels you to continue on. And so, but you have to have that if you're going to go up against that kind of opposition and those types of things that you just described. You've got to have a level of oh, you can't just see idly by and then expect somebody to fix it for you or give you something, whatever it is. Those days, I was gonna say those days are long gone, but I don't think they was ever here. I think folks were just waiting on something that was never going to happen, and we just all we lost was time and lives and different things like that. So, Miss Neon, what say you?
Yeah, so it's when you were talking, initially kind of giving a segue to this question, I too latched onto that word culture, and it's like it resonates probably with me because so I think LaShundra, I know LaShundra and I share a lot of the same thoughts around just kind of the not necessarily apathy, but frustration and hurt and disappointment around the things that are happening, particularly in the K-12 system. And so, from her lens, she's sitting on the administrative side inside of a building where the opportunity for real impact is there. But the question becomes, is this something that we really want? And no indictment to the particular setting where she is, but just talking about from an administrative side.
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk about it from a leadership side. You pull me back and say, hey, you got to make sure you let the people know that, you accomplished something major with being elected to serve on the school board. And I'll tell you, so my concern is culture from the community side, like from the parental engagement piece, the organizations, the faith-based community, like where are we at? I cannot see us. And so my entire life I've been advocating, especially around education, telling people, hey, listen, y'all, we got to have a seat at the table. You got to have a seat at the table, because if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. But
That's
then I
right.
have awakening now serving on the school board, and this is the first time I said this publicly, but I don't bite my tongue in saying it. Now that I have a seat at the table, what I know is that I'm still on the menu.
Wow.
And so the only reason why I'm still on the menu is because our community does not show up to make sure that their children are taken care of in a way that is nurtured. See, we got to understand when it comes to this K-12 system, it wasn't even designed for us in the first place. And so we find ourselves trying to protect something systemically that wasn't set up for us in the first place. So from a culture standpoint, and I'm not making this about race, I'm just talking about period, because you can accomplish a certain socioeconomic status and your children are passed along because of your status. Not because they're actually there academically, but just because, hey, that's Neonta's child or niece or nephew or whatever the case may be. But we don't have enough people in the room that's willing to be advocates like they need to be. And so so for me, like my passion is around this urgency of now. And then at the same time, while sitting at the tables that I get an opportunity to sit at, and by no stretch, I'm absolutely blessed to be there. But again, I've been a talker my whole life. You got to speak your opinions, but live your convictions. And so when I sit in spaces, I'm convicted by what my opinion tells me I should be convicted by. So in saying that, like I am challenging colleagues, friends, peers, parents, everybody to think differently about what our educational system is going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Everybody has hung their hat on the pandemic and what COVID has done. And to Sean's point, data is coming out. And so people can't be, we can't act like we didn't know this was going to happen, but we should not be okay with it. We should be in sackcloth and ashes, tearing off our clothes in the center of the hallways, making a whole fool about what is happening in our communities. And again, I'm not talking about it from a racial perspective. I'm just talking about in general, just in general. And so, we have got to position ourselves. And then the other thing is we've got to also push our children to have ownership in this.
Yes.
Because there's a system out here that is designed to tear you down. Yeah. It means you not well at all. So I don't know if you meant to open up this can of worms with two.
No. It's good. Right. I told them, hey, they already know. They kind of just, everybody's kind of just listening on us having a regular discussion like we've been talking about.
Right.
We in the parking lot, you know what I mean? We're just talking.
Yeah, okay. All right.
It's all good, and I will say this, I'm like you in that, who I am is who I am, and I am who I am wherever I go. And so it's this duality, it's this, this man, I'm playing both sides. I'm at graduation and I'm celebrating, But then at the same time, my heart is broken because
Yes.
the
Yes.
loudest cheering, the ones you cheer for the most, they wasn't up there for none of the awards, none of the AB honor roll. You know, they slid them on through, and they got the loud cheer and the air horns and all of that. But when it came to these scholarships and these honor rolls and all this, your baby wasn't. So we doing this, you know, and I'm not saying fake support, but we doing this little public display of whatever. And then, you know, we can unpack the layers, because I'm looking like, even just from an economic standpoint, man, what you spent to show people whatever, you know, just hair, lashes, dress, whatever you had to get, whatever it is. Our priorities are so just in the wrong place many times, you know. And so it's sad to me, because I'm looking like, man, if we had that same effort throughout the year, and PTA and other stuff, man, then that baby really would have some different results they could have gotten throughout the year, other than that one moment we're saying we're living to scream the loudest. That ain't the goal, you know. So, and then from a faith-based standpoint, you know, I'm working. I'm putting it out there. If I try to say this to everybody who will listen, but I'm putting it out there on live. Neonta had her. She said, "I never said it publicly." Now let me go. I believe I said it publicly, but maybe I haven't. I'm gonna say it tonight. One of my goals, one of my objectives. I mean, like for the 2023-24 school. I mean, like coming up in August. My objective is that by the time school starts, we have legitimate, tangible partnerships between local schools and local churches. The number of schools that are in this city versus the number of churches that are in this city is like 30-1 or something like that.
It's gotta be. And for the people in the back, I'm sorry, Pastor, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, and so, you know, I guess at this point I put on my school board hat. And so for the people in the back, like, this doesn't mean wait till something traumatic happens in the school and then call on the pastors and saying we need prayer. Correct. That's not what it means. That's not the partnership that needs to happen. We need partnerships on the front end, because as you all are ministers and leaders, like, you have the secret sauce to pull our communities together to be able to heal the hurt that families are experiencing, because you're well aware of what they are.
And we can accomplish so much more together, because in many cases you're serving those same families, those neighborhood schools and neighborhood churches, and you got one school and 3, 4, 5 churches surrounded. There's no way that they shouldn't have the volunteers they need, the people to come in, and there's no way the teachers should be buying their own supplies and all this other kind of stuff. You know, when you have this pool of individuals, but the separation, the unity starts in mindset and in heart, and then in action. You know, so you can be right next door to the person and be divided. And so we've got to tear down those barriers and say, okay, how can we serve? How can we support? You may not ever show up to my church, whatever it is, but how can I support? Because it is part of who I am. It is part of what I desire to contribute.
You know what I've learned though with that, Pastor Todd. You know, as Neon said, I'm on the opposite side because I'm in the building.
Yeah.
You know, that comes with vision, right? Because if you don't have a strategic vision as to the partners, then you just got extra bodies in the building that you got to now figure out how to manage, right? Yeah. I remember being a classroom teacher, and I was always frustrated with, you know, parents trying to come in the classroom. And I'm like, nah, I need to orient you to how we do this thing, because you just trying to come in my classroom, be nosy, be in my way, and in some cases be a distraction. So I never was fond of parent classroom volunteers. I was not fond of that, because there are some things as a school leader, or even that person that's working in that building, you have to do to introduce those to that space so that it truly is conducive and can be beneficial. That's on one hand. And I carry that same kind of like, you just extra bodies in a building. The reality of it is, we're not talking about the days of visionary leaders. We're not talking about the days where our principals are visionary leaders across the board. We're not even talking about the days where our classroom teachers are strategic enough to craft classroom visions and to say, hey, here's who I need, here's why I need them, here's where I can use XYZ partners or partnerships and or resources. So the leader,
and I'm going to like slide this in there. I know you may not want to, but we're not talking about the days when in many cases pastors, church leadership aren't visionary leaders.
Now I wasn't gonna go there. Hey, Pastor Ty, I wasn't gonna even go there because I have been touted as the one that always come for the clergy. So I was gonna leave my little brethren and sisters alone.
Hey,
however, how so be ever, because that's my new word in this season. How so be ever.
Yeah. I ain't mad at nobody.
Right, visionary leadership is lacking across the board where we sit down collectively. Because historically, I'm a history teacher by trade. Historically, the church and the schools used to have a marriage. That ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what happened. And again, shout out to all church leaders who still get it that church and school go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
But historically, they used to be a team. Because to your point, this is something me and Neon used to always talk about when we met with clergy in our advocacy space with Bayo. We used to tell these pastors, y'all saying y'all don't want to participate, y'all scared, it's politics over there on the educational side, like the church ain't political, but okay, neither here nor there. And we used to tell them, what? Go in one of your children's Sunday school classes, vacation Bible school, pick a class. I don't care. K through 5. Don't go middle high. We ain't gonna go there yet. Go in one of these preschool classrooms and listen to these babies read or try to read. And then when we revisit this clergy conversation, guess what? You let me know what you heard, and you let me know what you saw. Right. Then let's move it on up to when we talk about tithing and stewardship. Sometimes people don't tithe because they don't even understand monetary calculations because everybody don't know how to computate and calculate, which is a basic skills, right? So again, when we're talking about, okay, let's separate church and state, or, you do have some pastors that are sometimes get a little bit grand, and I ain't knocking them, that don't want to get in this fight. And I'm trying to figure out, well, who you think sitting in your pews? And mind you, we're not talking about one generation of deficiency. We're talking about at least 3 generations of deficiency. So when you sit and say, when you're sitting at these graduations, I'm also thinking about, what? That same baby, that baby right there, that baby mama and daddy got failed by that same system. That baby mama, and daddy got failed by that same system. And now we saying, we cheering for that baby. And now this baby finna go out into what system and do what with and create a whole nother generation of deficit. So we think about this generational dysfunction, that stems from our school. But going back to the visionary leadership piece, we also as leaders, whether that's church, community, business, school, have to be very clear as to how can we use a Pastor Ty in our building. What does that look like? So that when Pastor Ty comes on my campus at 9:45 to 11 a.m., Pastor Ty is doing literacy pullout with 3 young male boys for 30 minutes. And then the rest of his time he spends mentoring porn. Okay, boom, great. Then I got Neon that comes in an hour a week, and she pour into our ladies around self-esteem and hygiene, and they meet in the back corner of the auditorium. Okay, boom. And then on Wednesdays, Neon bring in her sorority sisters because then they meet with everybody talking about college readiness and pathways. Like, you have to be sure. I don't need you walking my hallways.
That's right.
I don't need you just in my classrooms. We have to be intentional about our own needs first. But to do that, we have to have honest conversations internally to then be able to say how those of you externally can best serve our needs.
May the Lord watch between you.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree with that. There has to be strategy. If not, we just doing stuff. And so there has to be there has to be purpose behind it, or an end game. What are we looking to accomplish? And so setting some goals, that kind of thing, and then getting on board and participating. And being consistent, because some of the times what happens is we start, and that
Yep.
can be counterproductive because you're showing, okay, you're being another inconsistent piece in that
In this
child or in
puzzle.
that school
Yes.
system life. And so,
Yes.
you know, I believe God is uh he is he desires that we do our part, and that he can use us in the educational system, you know. And I was telling somebody this just the other day, and unfortunately, you know, it's just the truth is what it is. Now we had to. It took us a period of time to really undo the stigma that many clergy and churches have put in the mouths of organizations, institutions, nonprofits, because it was so many promises and nothing was uh, accomplished, or either it was none of those promises were made good on. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take some time, but I think it's well worth it. Neon, you awfully quiet. What you got to say?
Listen, I mean, I'm nodding my head in agreement. I absolutely agree. I think, you know, if Sean had not talked about, you know, tapped into, or if you hadn't brought up, you know, that the church also, faith leaders also have this strategy around leadership. Again, Sean and Neon had these conversations
Yeah,
all the time. Tonight we just get to, you know,
yeah,
the three of us have talked collectively about this, but to just be able to have this conversation publicly, but all the time, I mean, it's we lack leadership in every facet, you know, and I think, you know, I think it is a derivative of lack of identity that then leads to lack of courage, that leads to lack of purpose. And
wow,
not because purpose isn't there, but just because starting with those original lacks, like just having clear identity on who we are and what our purpose is supposed to be, and then holding true to that, like not allowing whatever our you know, whatever brings us income, because a lot of times people will sway, like they will go back and forth based on what's hot now
yeah,
versus what's not, as opposed to this is what I know, this is what I'm sticking to at all costs. If it costs me everything financially, you know, being able to say that I'm certainly living in what my purpose is and what God has assigned me to do and aligned me to do. In fact, you know, we haven't said this, but just this past weekend, Sean and I and several other ladies were together, and just kind of, and interesting enough that you brought up about her being in like Florida doing the work, and then here we are in Alabama, and what are our thoughts across the country? Like it's the same doggone thing.
yeah,
Like you literally could allow us to switch places and
wow,
allow her to come to Alabama and let me go to Tampa, and the faces are different or essentially the same, but just different names.
yeah,
Like the struggles are truly real. The challenges are real. And, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a struggle, but you know, and she and I had this part of the conversation too. Like even the word tells us that our people perish for the lack of knowledge, but
that's
everybody
right.
leaves off that B part of the verse. And
Yeah.
the B part
Yeah,
is because the people
you
rejected it.
rejected knowledge. Yep,
Yes.
Then the question becomes, well, how is that rejection coming? That rejection is coming, in my opinion, one or two ways. Either you hear it and you do nothing about it, or you refuse to hear it.
mm-hmm.
So we got a cesspool of people who are living in this space of rejection
Wow,
because they think that they can navigate and it's not going to be them, or that they figured out a way to get out of it and have gotten out. But then we ask the question, well, who your kids gonna marry? Where your grandkids gonna come from if you think that you made it? Like
yeah,
if you think that you have become successful, like where, so you know, and you know, all of us are speaking from the heart of Christ, y'all. So we got
yeah,
to understand that there's an audience that's not even trying to hear and understand the baseline of what this is. But the three of us are simply saying that God has us here for a reason, and it's a
yeah,
purpose, and to be willing to go at all costs towards whatever that is, to make sure that people understand that they have value on their life and that God has purpose for them. And so even when we talk about, you know, we're tying it back into education, but when our kids came, to Sean's point, challenging our pastors to go down and go into your Sunday school classes and listen to them. When you have your Easter programs and now all of a sudden all of your the participants, the students are like comedians, it's because they've mastered deflection
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
to make people laugh. The same way in the schoolhouse, a lot of times they've mastered deflection, but then it becomes disruptive. And then they
mm-hmm.
get labeled. And what's really happening is I never got the baseline, right? I never
Yeah,
got what I'm supposed to. So I can't do the rest of this because I don't understand the baseline. Which again, if you parallel that to life, if I don't know my identity, I'm gonna deflect and do everything else because I don't know what my baseline is.
Yeah.
And so it's a real struggle. But when our kids can't read, they can't read the word of God. They're not gonna be able to speak courageously like we are about what we know to be true
Yeah.
and what we know needs to be done. So, I'm not quiet over here. I'm just shaking my head,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
one
got you.
north and south out of we're in trouble. But to Sean's point in her introduction, I'm still hopeful. No matter what
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I am, because there is somebody out there that's going to get it. They're going to understand it. And so even in the midst of, we have students who are graduating and you wish that there were more scholarships, there were more opportunities. And I think it's not because, our kids have everything they need inside of them. Last night I was blessed to, we had a school board meeting with Birmingham City, and this was the evening where we recognized students across the district for athletic and academic accomplishments. And I was sitting, me and my colleague, we just kept hitting each other on the arm, like, man, do you see how many little boys is getting these awards tonight? Like,
Yeah.
hands down, they showed out for math competitions, math derbies, for STEM, like, not, and I applaud athletics. It was a part of, it undergirded the bridge that got me over
Yeah.
to be able to get into college. So I'm not knocking that. But at the same time, to see that we got some young boys, but then at the same time, my spirit is vexed because I'm asking myself, what happens from this elementary level,
Yeah.
this middle school level, that snatches
Mm-hmm.
this accomplishment out of them to make them, by the time they're in high school, feel like, man, forget it.
Yeah.
Like, what happens?
Yeah.
We have to. It's a lot of work to be done. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Of work
It's a whole lot of work. But we're I think Sean kicked it off by talking about just being called to it and having that grace on your life for it, and I believe that's the case for us all. And there's some that are watching. I believe that's the same thing with you all, and tonight wasn't about, hey, let's see if we can bash the school system. Tonight is about, hey, let's identify to the best of as we can within an hour, because like you said, you need a Netflix documentary. Let's identify just the realities of where we are.
Yep.
It's okay to stop long enough to say, let's celebrate, congratulations, awesome job, kudos, but let's not camp out there and let that be. Let's not make a permanent dwelling place where we're supposed to build a tent.
Yeah.
We're supposed to move on to the next thing, and now we're satisfied with this. And like you said, where does that baby go after that? What does that look like after that? How do we break this generational systemic, those pieces? And so identifying some of those things and really understanding that we won't any longer tolerate being satisfied with just the crumbs. And so there has to be, there's a lion's share that is that we can go after, and we'll have to go after it collectively as a people. And it's going to take professionals, it's going to take parents, it's going to take pastors. They're going to use some 3 Ps. It's going to take all those individuals to come together and to do our part and unite and say, hey, this is what the objective is. This is what we desire to see. As Sean said, here's the strategy. We're not coming in here trying to take over, think we know something because we say, I got my preaching license, so move over, teacher. No, we're going to submit to her grace. We're going to submit to what she does. How can we serve? How can we be a part? How can we assist? Get that strategy, that plan, and execute accordingly. Now, what I love about these sisters here, y'all know we can get passionate and go on and on about this. What I love about them is they're not just here, or they're just not every day just saying, hey, here's the problem, shame on y'all. They're solution based. And as Neon said, God calls us and grace us to do these things, and we want the best for the children and all that, but it starts at home. It starts with parents. It starts with that type of engagement. So they have an amazing event that's coming up in August of this year. And I want y'all to go ahead and make sure that you put the date on your calendar. This is the Parent Symposium 2023, Year of Evidence. I love that. It's going to be August the 12th. And it's going to be right here in the city of Gadsden at the venue at Coosa Landing. And so can you all just talk a little bit about what that's going to look out? Here's some information here, how you can, registration has already opened May 1st. Y'all need to go ahead and register. Y'all need to make sure, and registration is free and open to all. See, They're eliminating all the excuses we may have why we can't come. Registration is free. It's open to all. And then I'll let them tell you who the special keynote speaker is going to be and all of that. But can you tell us about the symposium?
Yeah, thank you, Pastor Ty, so much for shouting out. What the work that Black Alabamians for Education is doing. I mean, we
Yes.
every opportunity to hear, every opportunity to engage with parents is so just the community at large. So thank you. We are excited about the Parent Symposium. It is scheduled for August, as you said, August the 12th, 2023 in the city of Gaston. I'm so excited to go home. Every time I
Yeah.
used to say that we're home, I think about Dorothy tapping her shoes 3 times. I was like, I wanted to go back for very selfish reasons where it all started from. I want people at home to know that I'm not, it's not a made it out, but God had blessed me to be from Gaston and to have a village around me. So I'm just
Yes.
trying to bring a village back to the city. But the blessing is that it's actually open up to everybody across the state of Alabama and anywhere in the country that wants to attend. And so it is a parent symposium. It is designed to be the largest gathering of parents, community members, elected officials, to be all in the same space and what I want to call the Black experience.
Wow.
One
Yeah.
that is a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, a lot of entertainment, but at the same time, disseminating information. So if you've ever gone to any professional conferences, you have these different breakout sessions where you can pick and choose what session you want to go into. And the idea is that parents and attendees are going to receive information to help their children have a successful academic school year in the upcoming year. So excited. Sean is actually going to facilitate a couple of sessions, and I'll let her talk about her the 2 sessions that she's going to facilitate. We are launching a new program, and we're going to following the symposium. We're going to keep that as a secret sauce. But following the launching of the new program at the symposium, it's going to open up an opportunity to develop new leaders. We talked about having folks who are able to have strategy and be engaged in this piece. So super excited about this. Excited that again, it's going to be entertaining. It's free of charge. Great food is going to be on site because one thing I know people walk away from events like, man, was the food good? Because it was really good, very spacious. And finally, to announce who our keynote speaker is. If you've seen any promos, you should be excited about him. But the one and only, I hear the drum roll, Roland Martin. He
Roland
is
Martin.
so I'm so excited, so excited. We went through the Rolodex of folks that we could bring in that people would attract, that could attract folks that people would love. And so, interestingly enough, Roland's driver had a accident in Gadsden.
Wow.
And in fact, he was passing through. He was driving back from the Essence Festival last year this time, and someone was bothering him on the interstate, caused him to have an accident. His Mercedes van flipped over. I think he said 3 or 4 times. I can't recall if he was ejected or not, but the nearest hospital they could get him to was Gadsden. Wow. Imagine that, y'all. If you know the area, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Take him back to Birmingham, but they got him to Gaston. And so I was in flight from somewhere, I don't know, but when I got to connectivity with my cell phone, my phone was blowing up, inboxing. People saying, hey, is everything okay? Is Roland okay? Because people thought that it was actually Roland, but it was his driver. Nonetheless, the way Gaston showed love, and I mean, people call like, hey, listen, do they need a place to stay? Do they need a driver? Do they need help? Like, what do they need? Yeah. And so when I told Roland about that, he was just overwhelmed. And of course, his driver is, by the grace of God, okay. Wow. Got a chance to meet him, and he was like, man, you tell the people in Gaston, I said, that's good looking out. And so, of course, that's not the reason for bringing Roland, but I know a lot of people wanted to hear from him. But he is one that he says things that I wish I had the courage to say sometimes publicly. But he's been an advocate for K-12 education, and more importantly, school choice options, be it public, private, charter, virtual home, or blended school options. I'll say, and then I'll let Sean talk about her sessions that she's going to do in addition to other sessions that we're going to have. But we came up with a theme of Year of Evidence because anytime there's movement, there should be evidence that something has happened.
I love it. I love that.
So the idea is that the movement that's going to take place at this symposium, the networking that's going to take place at this symposium, the information that's going to be disseminated at this symposium absolutely must yield a year of evidence. And so evidence where people will be able to see outcomes for their
Yes.
children. They will be able to better support their children in the classroom, better support their teachers, better be a pew member to pastors. So even for the clergy, the faith-based community, we have a breakout session that's designed specifically for our faith-based community, our leaders. Excited that Pastor Darrell Roberts out of Dothan, Alabama is going to facilitate that session. And so, there's room for every single person at the table. I see someone is saying, where can we find that flyer to share?
I can drop it.
Okay, thanks, friend. If you drop it, and then also I'll get it to Pastor Ty.
Yeah, I'll make sure we share it after the broadcast. It'll be on my page. There we have it.
Awesome. And I plan to spend the next couple of weeks, and actually the next 2 or 3 months, but definitely the next 2 weeks in Gaston, putting up posters all across the city, saturating the city to let folks know we are busing people in from Huntsville, from Dothan, from Montgomery, and from Birmingham. So if you register, when you click the link to register, if you are in one of those cities and you need transportation, you click that you need transportation, we are going to get you there. All we're asking for is your time and commitment to be able to sit in and listen and grow and glean and network and find out that there are folks across the country who actually are concerned about education, and to gain tools to be able to support you so that you know you are not alone. So I'm gonna pass it over to LaShundra and let her talk about. I'm excited about the sessions that she's going to do. It's gonna be fun.
So actually, between now and August, y'all ain't no telling what them sessions gonna be, because you all don't know by now. If you can't tell, Neon is bossy. And so I just do. Can y'all hear me?
See, that's what you get for talking about me.
All right. When you growing up in the Black Baptist church, you get voluntold. But Neon talks about, she set the theme of the year of evidence. I've been to more professional conferences in my lifetime than I can just even count. And that's beginning with National Baptist Congress conventions as a kid, all the way up to the many professional conferences that I've attended. And, one thing that I always saw that was missing was activity. We sat in sessions and in these big rooms, and we did a lot of listening. We did some sharing, but there wasn't true activity where people felt engaged enough and equipped enough to then lead activated. And I don't just mean emotionally activated, but I mean with some tangible tools, resources, and ways that they could then take with them, that they felt just as a part of the environment as those of us that was facilitating. And so that is my personal goal. As a teacher, I'm the hype girl. As a school leader, I'm the hype girl. And so that is what we're bringing to not just the city of Gaston, but the state of Alabama, and to everyone across the country who we're expecting to register and to attend. And so we're looking at 2 sessions. One of them I'll be facilitating in the morning, looks at how do you redesign and reimagine learning in schools? Like, how do you, as just a parent or a parishioner or a pew member, or even a pastor, think about the design process? What does it take to lead, run, operate, and just build out a school? What are some key components that the 21st century school should entail? Because again, sometimes we sit on the outside, and so we're not in the seat of the school leader. We're not in the seat of the pastor. We're not in the seat of the visionary leader. And so how cool could it be? How empowering is it to be in a space where the ideation that you're bringing and the brainstorming and the dreaming aloud, and that's what we'll be able to do in that session. And it's called the 3D Lab. And I've actually facilitated this session many times before. And again, helping. One thing I feel like we've lost years ago is that ability to dream. We robbed that from our children. And I believe we've been robbed of it as adults, where we just sit around and just dream aloud, and brainstorm. And I want to bring dreaming back to people. And so that session will really be heavily rooted in dreaming aloud, discussing and designing again around, school, and building our schools. And then my second one is looking at performance indicators. And looking at what should you, when you go inside of a school, what should you really be looking for as it relates to how well a school is performing? Data is one metric, but there's so many other things. Culture, the aesthetics of a building, right? Compassion. Is there empathy? Is there a level of culture, sensitivity, and awareness? So how do we again add definition to this jargon and this lingo that we hear? But then also, how do we again give people like some tangible checklist or rubric of sorts as to what parents or just anyone, when they're going inside of these schools, what helps you make a decision? We also know as an advocacy organization that, every school is different because every child is different. We call it school shopping, right? Just like you go to Macy's or Nordstrom's to pick out the perfect shoe, perfect dress, you should be doing that for your student, right? And if you have multiple students, you should be doing that multiple times because no one school fits all children. And we'll also be having sessions around that nuance as well. But again, what are some things that just a novice individual can go inside of a school building and she'll be looking for? Because it matters, if your building clean or not. Aesthetics matter to student learning. I've said that so many times. If I'm walking up in a building and your playground muddy, or you ain't got no playground, there's no bushes, there's no greenery, there's no light, good Jesus, and you want me to sit in your building for 8 hours and learn from a teacher that look crazy. That matters. All of that stuff matters, right? Give me some eye candy if I got to look at you for 8 hours. So we'll be talking about, and we'll be doing it in a comedic way. Yeah. Because this is not a stiff conversation. I'm not stiff, right? And so we'll really be having some honest, open, fun dialogue about the realities of this thing, but also ways that we can leave equipped, empowered, and activated to move, activated to show evidence towards, again, doing our personal part in this bigger scheme of things. Super, super excited. And of course, not to spoil the secret, but really, really excited to be a part of the launching of this newest leg of Black Alabamians. Super humbled to be a part of this work. And I just think we're still in this season where God is wanting to raise up voices and vessels to still carry the mantle. And so he's charged us with this grand opportunity to help cultivate what that looks like. I'm ready. I'm beyond ready. I'm super geek. Shout out to my boss for granting me this opportunity, for the Holy Spirit speaking to her and convicting her finally. But super, super, super excited because hey, you sit with so much and you just be like, I want to pour, I want to give, I got some, put me in the game, coach, put me in the game. So I'm so excited that my coach finally put me in the game, and I promise I won't let her down to disappoint her, nor would I let down the people of Alabama and those that God has called me to serve in this season. So y'all listen, pull up. We're going to have DJ, we line dancing, we two-stepping, we eating good, we going to party, we going to learn, we going to pray, we going to laugh, we going to cry, we're going to have a good time in Jesus' name, and we're going to do it all for the children, all for our children. And so anything that we can do, any questions you all may have, please feel free, drop your comments, drop your questions, email Pastor Ty if you need our contact information. Definitely looking forward to August the 12th. We gonna be in the building, baby, and you gonna know when we land because you're gonna hear the earth rock.
That's right.
They mean that, you hear me? Like
they mean it. Period. We went to a comedy show Sunday and they was like, we hate this. What is this? Period. It's the word of our young people. Period.
Yes.
Black AL4EDU.org. That is Black Alabamians for Education. You can go to that website, information there. Both of these amazing women have their information there, contact information. You can reach out to them. Listen, I always encourage people, especially those in our church, and you go to people who have your answers. And so they have some amazing answers and they made themselves available. So what I want you all to do, I want you to connect with them. I want you to be, somebody said, thanks, this is great. Our superintendent in Gadsden Schools will love this. Yes. Then you have somebody who said, Mr. Miguel said, I will be there. And so y'all help get the word out. Y'all help make sure that this happens, because they can provide all of these amazing things, amazing speaker, amazing food, music, and provide this space. And then we sit idly by and don't take advantage of it, or we take advantage of it and then others in our families, friends, loved ones miss out. And so we don't want to do that. We don't want to be those who just complain. No, we want to be a part of the solution. And tonight absolutely was about that. Hey, let's identify this, but then, hey, here's a resolve that we have, that we aren't giving up. We're encouraged. We're not quitting. We're ready for the fight. We're in this thing. And then here is something that we're doing to provide a solution for the children, for the parents, for the faculty, for the staff, for the community. If you're anywhere close to Gadsden, Alabama, you need to make sure you're there, number one. Then also you need to make sure that you tell somebody to be there. Make sure that they're in the know. Make sure that they know that this is going on. Hashtag greatness. I know that's right. I concur and I agree. Greatness. And so I thank these young ladies for what they're doing, for the work. And, God is not unjust to forget your labor of love. And I'm sure it's frustrating when you're in the front lines and you're in the thick of things, you're making it happen. However, I want you to know that you are making a difference. If nobody told you you're making a difference, I want to tell you tonight that you are making a difference, and that I'm excited about what you're doing and going to do. And I'm so very proud to know you both and proud to be just connected to you. I thank God for you. I'm excited about what God is going to do with our work collectively together. And so as the only Black NBCT in Etowah County, I'm extremely excited about this opportunity. And so praise God for you all being on. Thanks, ladies, for the great work and what you're doing. Blessings to you both. You all, thank you again for being on tonight. Y'all know this is just a little glimpse into, what we do and that type of thing. I tell you privately, I tell you publicly, I'm your ally, I'm your brother. However I can serve, however I can be a part, I'm with it. So I'm just excited for the impact that you are making, and thank you, because you all you travel everywhere. Last I saw them, they were coming through here, looking at the place where the event is going to happen at the venue. Then they were headed to Huntsville and so forth. They were on the move. So thank you for taking out the time to say, hey, we want to come back to Gadsden and be a part of what's happening there, and that makes so much of a difference. So remember, everybody, this is going to be the this Parent Symposium 2023. It's going to be on August 12th, 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. It's an all-day thing. Registration is now open and it's completely free to all. You need to make sure that you register. Make sure your friends and families and loved ones know. And we're going to share this flyer, but you can screenshot it now if you can't wait, whatever it is. There's a QR code there that you can scan to have more information. And it's right at the venue at Coosa Landing. They picked a nice, spacious, modern, new facility. They went top shelf with this thing. 201 George Wallace Drive in Gadsden, Alabama. You don't want to miss it. It will absolutely bless you. I know it's going to bless you. I know it's going to bless you. All right. Thank y'all for being on tonight, ladies. Thanks for being with us. God bless you all. And make, man, y'all, let me cry this one little thug tear right here. Then I got on and showed out, man, and came on and got on with your boy. Man, I'm telling y'all done made me happy tonight. I appreciate it.
Listen,
can we pray? Can we definitely cover our brother friend?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Neon, you good?
You got it, Sean.
All right. Dear God, we thank you always for the opportunity you allow us to gather, to commune, to fellowship, oh God. We thank you for these moments that we get to share, oh God, and lift up one another, encourage one another, oh God. We know that you are not a random God, that you are not coincidental God, that you are the God of order, of decency, of divine timing, oh God. And so we bless you now, God, for this opportunity. We bless you, God, for this divine time and this divine appointment, this destiny encounter, oh God, with my dear sister Neonta Williams and my dear brother Pastor Ty, oh God. We cannot thank you enough, oh God, for how you've continued to move in and through each of us, oh God, and the work that you are doing through our dear brother, God. So I pray now, God, that every place that Pastor Ty's feet feet tread, oh God, that it is already given unto him, oh God, that you would give him a fresh oil from heaven even now, oh God, that equips him, that empowers him, oh God, that grants him everything that he needs, oh God, to fulfill the assignment that you have divinely spoken in and over his life, oh God. I plead the blood over him now, his home, his heart, his marriage, his family, his church, oh God, that everything Pastor Top puts his hand to do, oh God, not only will you bless it, oh God, not only are you blessing it, oh God, but that you will multiply it, God, in the name of Jesus, oh God. I pray and prophetically decree and declare, oh God, that you're opening doors that no man can shut, oh God, that you're shutting doors that no man can reopen, oh God, God, that he shall eat good and the fruit of the land, oh God, that his ladder will be greater, and God, that you're taking this man of God from glory to glory, oh God. God, I thank you for his life, his ministry, God, his presence. I thank you for his purity, his authenticity, oh God, and praying, God, that his eyes have not seen, God, ears have not heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of man, oh God, what you have prepared and in store for this man of God. God, we bless you, oh God. God, we thank you, oh God. Continue to keep him, order every step, order every thought, oh God. Keep him in your care. Give him strength, peace, power, authority, and grace that abounds, God, in the matchless, mighty name of Jesus. And God, I pray that everything and everyone that's connected to this man of God, that they receive from him, they receive of his pour, they receive of his impartation, they receive, God, even if they're just a saucer in the overflow, oh God, that they receive, oh God, the blessings of the Lord that's upon his life that makes him rich, yes, God, and adds no sorrow, God. We thank you, God, for this destiny moment. We thank you for my dear sister Neonta, God. Continue to keep her lifted, oh God. Keep her encouraged, oh God. Strengthen her hands for the assignment in which you placed in them, oh God. And God, we'll remember this moment. We will remember, oh God, even when we fall into diverse temptations, God, your word teaches and tells us, yes, oh God, to count it all joy, oh God. So God, we thank you. We love you. It is in Jesus' most holy name, God, we pray individually and collectively. All God's people saying together, amen and amen.
Amen.
Bless your brother. Love you.
Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much. I received that. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Love y'all. Y'all have a. I'll talk to y'all in a second. Hey, listen to me, y'all. I tried to told you. Yeah, two heavy hitters on and shared so much with us tonight. And y'all lighten up the comment section, and I mean, I can't even click this thing fast enough, you know. But I will just say this: that man, tonight is something special. Now, what I want you to do, I don't want you to keep this to yourself. If you got on late or you didn't get an opportunity to, you need to share this. You need to like it. You need to do all the stuff that the algorithm likes so it gets to in front of as many people as possible. Again, we just want to help. It's not about a popularity contest. We want to be a part of the solution. And so we need your help to do your part. It's a small little task to click that little button and get this in front of the right person. You never know whose answer has been given during this broadcast. And so let me thank you in advance for that. Those sisters, Neonta Williams and Sean, LaShundra, Richmond, they have absolutely blessed us tonight, sharing so many of those little nuances that we otherwise may not have been privy to, giving us just some insights from just from so many vantage points, spiritual vantage point, from being a professional, that vantage point, the experiential piece of it, and just the overall just the viewpoint of understanding the layers that are behind this whole educational piece. And they didn't leave us without a solution. They didn't leave us without something that we could do and some things that we can do to further develop ourselves and to be a part of moving this thing further. I don't know about you, but I'm leaving encouraged. I'm leaving ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to serve. man, they put a battery in my back, and I am ready to be to be on task and to help in any way that I can. Before we sign off, let me just remind you one more time, because I really want you to attend this. I want you to go ahead and register if you haven't already. Register for this event. This is the Parent Symposium 2023. This is the year of evidence. I love that. It's going to be on August 12th, and it'll be from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. Please go and register. Registration is completely, totally free. Tell somebody. There's going to be labs. There's going to be food. There's going to be encouragement there. You're gonna leave charged. If you think that tonight you left charged, man, when you leave there, man, I hope you don't leave your vehicle in the parking lot, because you might be ready to run to the house, because you're going to be so fueled and empowered. And that's the thing about it. I think Ms. Sean said it best, not just emotionalized, but empowered, given some tools, resources that you can use so that you and your family, your babies, your loved ones, man, your those that you're connected to would be better because you've attended this symposium. And so make sure you're there. Make sure your friends and families are there and all those other things. Well, that's our time for tonight. This is Midlink, and we're here at Midlink every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We're here, and we're never going to present you with something that's not going to be of quality content. And so you want to make sure that your notification bell's on and all the other stuff. So when Wednesday comes, you can get that ding, 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 ding. Midlink is on. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a blessing to you. So join us on Wednesday, 7 o'clock p.m. right here, wherever you're watching. We'll be right here, and we'll have something that you can use. Hey, I'm Pastor Ty, and I'm signing off again. Thank you to our guests, Neonta Williams and LaShundra Richmond. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. We will connect with you real soon. And as I always sign off, I decree that the Lord will bless you. He'll bless you indeed. He'll enlarge your territory, that his hand will be on you and with you, and he'll keep you from evil and from harm. That is my prayer for you. Have an amazing night, amazing rest of the week. We'll talk to you real soon, everybody. Be blessed.